The problem lies in an institutional safeguard which is absent in holding them to account. If an institution believes that the manner in which I exist is perfect and there is absolutely no room for or need for reform, then that institution certainly does not have the right to pontificate reform to anybody else. At the very least, you can't say this is the best I can be and that I don't need any kind of intervention from outside because I wish to preserve my independence. Why can't a religious institution take the same position? Your position is derived from the constitution, which is the will of the people. The position of the temple is derived from the belief of the people. So why can't the temple equally take that position that we will not accept any judicial intervention in the name of reform? The problem is the executive will not go beyond a certain point because they too are wary of repercussions from the judiciary. It is for the common people to start doing this. Private initiatives which actually say that it is time that at the very least a referendum is conducted to ask the people whether they want reform in the judicial appointment or not. If you look at any of these legislations, you split them into three baskets: the good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay. Our fight against these legislations is against the baskets which have the bad and the ugly. When there is mismanagement of an institution where public money is at play, I do believe that the state must have some kind of a say in setting the wrong right and in ensuring that things come back on the right track. I don't have a problem with it. But does it require you to play the role of a big brother who is constantly in that institution? That's where the distinction lies. So there are three words that I will use and you tell me what idea it conveys. Takeover, regulation, restriction. Which according to you is the extreme form of control? Takeover. The other two basically limit themselves to limited intervention. That is the idea. So if you look at the Constitution, and I'm giving you a clear legal answer, it requires and it envisages that the state shall only play a limited role in ensuring that there is no mismanagement. So for instance, the restructuring of a company happens if a company of a public limited company is mismanaged. It is possible for the government to appoint somebody. Previously it was the official liquidator during the winding up process. And you have people who are appointed to take over the management for a limited period. But after that the company is given back to the people who originally promoted the company and were the shareholders of the company. That is more or less the same structure that is envisaged by the Constitution, which is to say, assume that there is a temple which has a board and trustees from the community. The government can pass a legislation which requires these board members and the trustees to maintain accounts in a certain format, in a certain manner, and has the right to examine those accounts and conduct an audit. Whenever and wherever it sees a problem with the management of the funds of the institution, it can initiate corrective mechanisms. But what is happening today is that in the name of good management, the appointment of the members also is in the hands of the government. The running of the institution is also in the hands of the government. The manner in which the resources will be used is also dictated by the government. The time at which a certain archana or a certain practice or a puja will be conducted is also decided by the government. So on one hand you have a complete detachment of the state, and the other hand you have complete entrenchment of the state. I am simply advocating the middle path. The state must have a limited say to do two things: that there is no caste-based discrimination in a temple. The traditions of the temple must not be violated. Therefore, if it has a denominational identity, then it must be the denomination that continues to control the temple. And where there is no basis for practicing discrimination, then discrimination on the basis of gender must not be allowed. But when it is based on a certain tradition, where it is based on a certain belief, which is central to the identity of the temple, the state should not have any say at all. And where they see corruption, it is possible for the state to conduct a random audit and initiate corrective mechanisms. I'm completely with all of this. All of this should result only in a 3-page legislation, not 250 sections, 300 sections, which envisages the appointment of executive officer in every state. In Tamil Nadu, in every temple, an executive officer has been appointed without any order being passed to the effect that there is mismanagement of the funds of the temple. What is the basic principle that you expect from the state? If the state were to enter your house, can it do so without a warrant? Can it do so without a warrant? It cannot. A warrant requires the state to explain the reasons why it believes it needs to enter your house. Correct? At the very least, it must say that it suspects you of something and therefore it needs to enter. In 38,000 institutions, there is no order passed by the state government of Tamil Nadu justifying the appointment of an executive officer in the temple trust. How do you justify this? This is the extreme. And what is the consequence? From 1959, 47,000 acres of land have been alienated by the state officials which belong to the temple without any documents. 47,000 acres of prime property. There is encroachment, no litigation is initiated to evict the encroachers. Rents are, or rather land is given at rents which are sub-market prices, and they don't even recover that money. If that money were to be collected, people who are dependent on the temple, and it's not just the Brahmins, there are several communities who are dependent on the temple's ecosystem. Even they will benefit. Is it not possible for them to establish schools and hospitals for the people who are dependent on the temple? They don't earn enough to go to private hospitals. So, I'm completely with you that as a member of the public, you would want to ensure that there is a safeguard to prevent mismanagement, and the state must have some say. But state must have say only with respect to rectifying mismanagement, but not over complete management.